Humans are becoming less attractive. We continued the Brad Cooper stream, and I really, really want to hear what she has to talk about this topic because I talk so much about this with my friends. And yeah, just to be clear for everyone, I don't find myself the ideal persona of attractiveness. Like, if you think I'm gonna talk shit because, but yet I still can't be myself the best, well, I don't think about myself as being an ideal person. So if I'm going to talk shit, yeah, no need to tell me how bad I look, because I already know.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So last week, some videos started circulating about attractiveness.
Let's go.
What can I say? I like the way you're put together.
And they were all based on a video that came out last year in 2022 from an aesthetics
Really? A video from last year. Cool.
expert that said that with every generation, we are getting uglier.
I'm ugly.
You're ugly and what?
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Which is
I think I even know. Oh yeah, I think I even know the SpongeBob episode. Holy damn! It's when he ate the ice cream that when he made his own ice cream, ate it, and then walk around and he smelled, but people thought that he was ugly. Oh my god, SpongeBob was also pushing this propaganda years ago, and I didn't see it. Holy crap, to be fair.
not something you ever want to read or hear, especially as a woman. That is not pleasant for any of us. But as I was reading articles about this video, I was reminded about those accounts on Twitter that will post things like, look at those bombshell blondes. You used to see 6 of them just working at the Sonic downtown. Now Victoria's Secret models aren't as hot as that. And then they just post like these random chicks in bathing suits from the 50s who are literally stunning, or they're like longboarding down Venice Beach or whatever. And like all the commenters agree, and they're reminiscing about a time when, you know, men and women were hotter and fitter and tanner. But now I'm sitting here thinking that maybe all of those Twitter accounts got it right. And we're going to talk about that today.
Really?
Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video.
Make sure
subscribe to
that
the channel
you
if
do
you've
the
not
same on my
already, and
channel,
ring that
yeah.
notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock
Or
episode.
my
Alrighty,
stream
so before we
reaction.
get into this, I have to put a disclaimer out here because I don't want anybody being upset or sad. I don't want you guys to get worried thinking that I'm about to say that we are all ugly and that we are all
Oh no, exceptions exist. There are amazing people in our generation, don't you think about it? And we can all become more amazing. We can all work on our beautiness. I think that I've worked actually a bit, let's be honest. I haven't quite changed my wardrobe, which I should do sometime. But at least the looks, I think I've evolved since a couple years ago, definitely.
all hopeless, because there is actually something that is very positive about this. We're going to get to that at the end. You just have to bear with me for a few minutes. All right,
Okay.
so I first saw this and got wind of this story through the New York Post. The headline reads, "Why People Are Becoming Less Attractive,
Go
Facial
ahead.
Analyst." So it all originated on TikTok.
I bet that is because of the culture of acceptance. Like, people should be proud of who they are, and it just turned out to be an excuse to not do anything as usually. I guarantee this will definitely be one of the topics.
Of course, as everything does in 2023. And the creator of this video and this expert is Shefri Hassan, who runs a facial aesthetics company called
Can I see his
Close,
face?
Plastic Surgeon, all that stuff. So let's just watch what he had to say. This now has millions of views.
Have you ever looked at an old yearbook from the 1950s and wondered why teenagers or high schoolers look so much older than they do?
I have wondered why are you comparing it to a yearbook? I mean, why won't just you take an old, book with like an old photo book with pictures? You're picking a yearbook. I mean, people dress up like they never do. You see a guy walking all year long in a sports costume or in shorts, suddenly popping up in this suit with his hair brushed and looking like freaking Leo DiCaprio in his 20s. Like, that's your book that you're going with? Those are your photos? Gotta try harder, man.
Today, there are multiple theories for why this is the case, but the one that makes the most intuitive sense, at least to me, is presented in Contemporary Orthodontics by Prophet and colleagues using what's known as the functional matrix hypothesis. In simple terms, this theory states that the development of the face is dependent on the forces that you put on it. For the upper and lower jaw, the tongue or other
Yeah.
forces can push it downwards and outwards, and then new bone comes to fill it in its place. In this example, this little girl had a very severe sinus infection, so she would always be breathing through her mouth, and she wouldn't keep it closed long enough for the mandible or the lower jaw to develop properly.
It's crazy.
Now, your
that
case
is
is
crazy.
probably not as bad as this, but with
I had another theory that the more pressure you put on a kid, or a kid or a teen, doesn't matter, the older they look actually when they grow, because they experience way more than a young. They become less of an innocent kid, and that's why they mature faster.
70% of the Western world having some kind of malocclusion or recession, much like this, it's a very good explanation for why faces are becoming less and less attractive.
I am surprised that he did not just roll that into an ad for mouth tape. You know, that's like the thing these days, like all of those holistic health guys are, you know, talking about.
Okay, this is like at least some interesting signs. I thought he was like gonna talk about social problems, but okay, yeah, this actually sounds as a good theory.
Health tape. My best friend Amir sleeps with mouth tape every single night. I would love to do it. I'm so weirded out by it. Like I tried it one night. I could not fall asleep. I was just like, this is too much stuff. I can't do it. But a lot of people sleep with mouth tape for that reason, because they want to make sure that their mouth stays closed. There's all of these graphs showing like mouth breathers versus nose breathers and how their jaws form. So this is not new information to me. I've seen it, you know, circulating the last couple of years for sure. But overall, people are pretty split about this. Like one person said, no, it's that we associate hairstyles with age. Try to add modern hair on those faces. I still think that they would probably be more attractive, in my opinion. Somebody else said, I'm in dentistry and this is absolutely accurate. Another person said, there's a study that shows in the modern diet that we are eating softer foods, which can present more crowding of teeth. Again, because we're not actually using our jaws the way that we did hundreds of years ago. So
that's why they mature slower.
Developing differently because we don't need to use them as we did in previous generations. Somebody else said, I think it's mainly fashion, photo quality, and factors like smoking cigarettes that made people look older. And
that's also true, but I mean, a lot of people smoked back in those days.
I think a confusing part of this video was how this person conflated attractiveness and age and looking older. But at the beginning, he was talking about looking older, and then at the end, he said, you know, that makes somebody more attractive. So I think it was kind of all over the place. But in my opinion, actually, I think the children and young people today actually look a lot older. I think there was like a period in the 2000s where we all just looked absolutely terrible. But kids today, I mean, you've seen the memes. The fourth graders look like they're in high school. I don't know what is going on. I think it's just
yeah, that's freaking true.
The fashion and the fact that our culture is making people grow up very, very quickly. Older people.
Yeah, but it's weird because a lot of people take so much time to study. Like back in the 80s or stuff like this, you're 18, 19, 20, you go to the working force immediately. Now, someone graduates high school at 20, like goes to college till 25 or university, stays there till like 25, 26, and only after this starts looking for a job. Yeah, it's shifted super differently.
People are trying to stay young for as long as possible with plastic surgery, with fashion. It's just
plastic surgery, of course.
Weirdness
it's also
and everybody being very insecure. I just think that's a very hard thing to pin down, and it's very cultural and dependent upon the time period and where society is at. However, I thought what he said about the jaw evolution and some of the other physical factors was interesting and definitely worth exploring. Now, in his caption on that video, he said, the average person's face is becoming increasingly disadvantaged by modern diets, sleeping patterns, pollutants, and orofacial habits, creating a greater inequality in the attractives versus the unattractives.
What you mean?
Say it louder.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
And I was looking at some of his other videos.
That is so propaganda. That is so SpongeBob propaganda. And how did I never spot it?
And he also talks about the impact of water. Now, people were very standoffish about all of this, but everything that he said in this caption is pretty well documented, even though he didn't get into the weeds with it. Like, take our sleeping habits, for example. We sleep a lot less than previous generations.
That's
and this
true.
is all public info. I pulled this all up in 0.5 seconds. Americans sleeping less than previous generations. Americans are sleeping less than they were 13 years ago. In the US, 40% get less than recommended amount of sleep. Hours of sleep similar to recent decades, but much lower than in 1942. And you know what? Sleep does have an impact on your body and probably your perceived attractiveness.
Always.
You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
This is from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. Study reveals the face of sleep deprivation. Results show that the faces of sleep deprivation individuals were perceived deprived. Results show that the faces of sleep-deprived individuals were perceived as having more hanging eyelids, redder eyes, more swollen eyes, and darker circles under the eyes. Sleep deprivation also was associated with paler skin, more wrinkles or fine lines, and more droopy corners of the mouth. People also looked sadder when sleep-deprived than after normal sleep, and sadness was related
because you don't get enough rest.
Now, I can attest to that personally. I think we all can. If you ever pulled an all-nighter in college, You did not look good
Yeah.
the next morning. That is very, very normal. If we're able to see it after one crazy night in college, imagine entire generations running on fumes, not getting enough sleep, and how that changes our bodies permanently. Now, this is about to be really cliche and cringe, and I'm so sorry, but beauty comes from within. But it does. Like when we're talking about your health and literally your
Yeah, the way she put it, the way she put it made it sound more cringe.
internal body, how you present to the world is dictated on that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that is true. If you walk around talking that you're awesome, sometimes people are gonna believe that you look awesome. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, you still have competition with other people, so you're still, even if you're less attractive compared to maybe some old generation, you're still better looking than this one. So you are always still having this point of attractiveness with you. And also, I can tell you, attractiveness is about other people also viewing it. I have a lot of girls who I consider beautiful, but not attractive. And these are super different keys. If you want to find out why, you can just Google, but there is a huge difference between beautifulness and attractiveness.
It does come from within, emotionally and physically, guys.
Yeah.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Now, the TikToker who made this video, he also
Stop
talked about
it.
diet, obviously, and that is a huge one. We all know that. Like, obviously, that has a significant impact on our health and our perceived attractiveness. Back in 2010, a team at St. Andrews University studied this and determined that good diet improves looks more than makeup. I
Yeah.
can attest to that. The days that I eat a lot of cookies and ice cream, I definitely have some pimples the next morning. So
That is true.
there's your anecdote. But they
Absolutely.
said their research on what people
Because
find
it's less interaction inside your body, it's less chemicals into you. You just form your nutrition better.
attractive suggested that people can pick up on subtle changes to skin color and preferred hues, which reflect a healthy lifestyle. Again, this all makes sense going back to why we were designed the way that we were. You want somebody that is more fertile, like men look for fertile women. It sounds really weird, but
Yeah,
that
but
is,
it's
again,
true.
anthropologically, how we are designed. There are specific things in our bodies that reflect that show that to the outside world, so none of this is crazy. Quote, what we're finding is that an attractive skin color is one that is slightly red, slightly increased in yellowness, and is lighter than normal. He goes on and he says, that combination is probably due to diet and exercise increasing the blood flow, and diet changing the chemical composition of our skin. Again, starts from within, folks. They concluded with this advice and said that if there's anybody who's wanting to make themselves
Yeah.
more attractive, their advice is to change your lifestyle rather
Yeah.
than have cosmetic surgery or buy expensive
Yes.
clothes and makeup. Quote, changing diet and lifestyle could have a greater benefit to appearance and in that sense could be more cost effective, especially when you're getting your healthy food from Good Ranchers. Now,
No ads. I don't get paid. Bye-bye.
talking about this in 2017, a team of researchers studied this with men. Diet quality and the attractiveness of the male body odor. And do not laugh, because odor is important. Like women, if you do
Oh,
not like
absolutely.
how your man naturally smells,
Yes.
you do not want to have children with him.
Yes.
You probably should not be with him. That is scientifically backed. And if you are on birth control, how you smell changes. So get
Yes.
off of it. See if you like how he
Finally,
smells. and
someone's
then decide.
talking
Anyway,
about
the
this.
men who were the healthiest, who ate the healthiest, worked out the most, apparently had the best natural musk, and they were ranked more attractive by the female judges in the study. Here's another piece measuring the
obvious.
refined carb intake and the impact on attractiveness. Like, there's so much research about this. The American diet is so bad. There's a reason why the majority of Americans are obese.
Fat.
It's bad for at least
They're fat! Most of them are freaking fat! Because of the way they eat. They don't properly know how to eat. And that is a big, big problem with them. But maybe that's why their football is so popular there. American football with the big guys. Stereotypical jokes coming out of me.
least a generation, if not more. And this has had an impact on our bodies and our perceived attractiveness. 50 years ago, Americans were healthier. Their diets were totally different. They were less processed, and their food was actually still filled with nutrients versus just sugar and, red dye 40. But that is not all. In 2023, we
Eating
are
sugar
sadly
now.
fatter and paler, and our skin is not as plump and red. Our hair is not as healthy because that is also dictated
Drink
by
water.
diet. Our eyes are droopy from screens and sleep deprivation. Like, no wonder we are perceived as being less attractive than those people you see on those, 1950s Twitter accounts. But I'm not done. That is not all. Because our hormones are also out of whack, and that also impacts your quote-unquote attractiveness. And a lot of that actually comes from the water that we drink. And I know this sounds very overwhelming. Go out and buy a filter, even if you don't have like the fanciest one ever. Just a Brita will do, like at least take that step. Water was also mentioned.
I mean, I don't live in the
videos,
US, so
and last
maybe
month,
for me
a
it's
huge
not that big
bombshell
of a
study
problem.
Came out saying that nearly half of the tap water in the US is contaminated with forever chemicals, a government study finds. And this study really should not be groundbreaking at all, because there have been a lot of smart people saying this for ages. That is why they've installed all these fancy filters in their homes, and they say, don't drink the tap water. But now the government has told us that it actually is dangerous.
Bad.
And you know what these forever chemicals are? They are actually endocrine disruptors, and they take a toll on our hormones. And people used to think that these forever chemicals only lived in our plastic water bottles, but no, they are in our pipes and our tap water as well. This is from that CNN article. PFAS are a family of ubiquitous synthetic chemicals that linger in the environment and in the human body. PFAS exposure is linked to problems like cancer, obesity, thyroid disease, high cholesterol, decreased fertility, liver damage, and hormone suppression.
We're gonna die,
The
everyone.
U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
People are not gonna survive another 40 years.
Documented. Your water bottle might be zapping your
We all
energy,
thought
libido,
it's the
and
atomic
fertility.
bomb,
Endocrine
but no,
disruptors in water and
it's
their effects on the
ourselves.
reproductive system, reduced testosterone tied to endocrine disrupting chemical exposure. We don't even have time today to get into the scary lack of testosterone in today's world, but that is also real. I mean, that was on the original TikTok. Somebody commented and said there is this theory that there is less testosterone in males these days. The creator said that's not a theory. It is well documented. It is going down very quickly. Now, like I said at the beginning, I do not mean for this to be all sad and
insulting
doomsday,
everyone
pointing
around
fingers
here.
and saying, we're all ugly and hopeless and the world is about to end. But the point here,
I say it's about to end. It's already ending.
Can do. Like study after study after study shows that attractiveness, perceived attractiveness, is connected to your internal health.
Maybe I should go to sleep directly after this stream.
You control your diet and your lifestyle. This should be empowering for us all. That original video was not saying that we are inherently, less attractive than previous generations, that there's nothing we can do.
That we're
There
destroying
are
our
things that you can
attractiveness.
do. If you see those pictures on Twitter of those attractive people running around the beach in the 1950s in California, that's not so far off. Go outside, touch some grass, see the sun, work out. I'm trying to do that more. You guys have seen it on Instagram. I'm actually working out now. I'm doing it so that I can stay consistent, get a proper amount of sleep, and eat whole vitamin-rich foods.
Yeah, that's a problem
you are in
for
control.
me.
That is the point of this episode.
Yeah, I have a big problem with my sleep. But you people take control of your bodies. You take control of your body. So this was our video. This was our reaction to another Brad Cooper video. I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to drop it in a couple days. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like and a subscription to this YouTube channel. And not only her. But in any case, guys, see you in another video.